Welcome to Transformations, interviewing people changing our world. I'm your host, Diane J. Shaver, and as you've noticed, each person that I've interviewed is very different one from the other, but what they have in common is passion and dedication and a real desire to make a change in this world. And my wish for you is that they inspire you to find something in yourself that you want to contribute to make this a much better world, and we can all do that. So today I'm interviewing somebody who has really contributed something that's desperately needed. Her name is Ragina Scott Saunders. And if you're in Charleston, South Carolina, you probably know her through Scott's Grand, which is a beautiful catering and event planning company. But that's not why she's here today. Something happened one day as she was going toward her business, and I'm going to let her tell you about it, but that changed a direction and made her a world changer. So welcome, Ragina.
Hello, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so tell us what was going on around the outside of your business as you were walking in one day that gave you an idea to do something to make this a better world?
Yes, it was about 4 years ago now that we started doing what we do here at Destiny Community Cafe. I noticed that people were in the shopping center that we're located, and they were going through the different trash cans in the morning trying to find food. And I would, whip up something or find something that we have and, just start feeding folks. And then we had people that would walk by that was looking for food and wanted full restaurant because it's a food desert where we're located, meaning that you have to go pretty far before you can find any produce. The dollar store was the grocery store. Couldn't find an onion, apple, orange, anything nearby. So about 4 years ago, we just started feeding people. And I said, there's got to be a better way or organization or something to do this. And I researched online and found One World Everybody Eats. And they're a national network of people like me who found the heart to go out and just giving nutritious food to the community. And I joined them, and we meet once a year. So
Wow.
we let people come in and pay whatever they can afford. If they can't afford anything, they can wash the dishes, sweep the floor, wipe a window, whatever they can do.
Wow. And I saw this on your website, which I love. So let me read this to you, and I want to get your input on this. The spirit here is really of love and kindness, and we want to show that example in the world today. Do you think it's a kind world? What is your take on what's going on for folks in the world now?
Ooh, well,
Just a little question.
I know, and try not to watch too much news lately. Yeah. Well, since the cafe's been open, we've been getting small groups coming in more, especially the young people. And at first I was a little afraid, but being able to hear the young people speak and voice and come in and the things that they're learning through programs like me, I feel like there's hope for the future now. If all of us can continue to let the light shine and show kindness, I do feel like there's hope with the young people.
I'm curious, what are they saying to you? What are you hearing from the young that are coming to you? And what's the age range that you're seeing?
Oh, I get them from kindergarten field trips all the way to College of Charleston that Trident Tech students. I'm also working with the new athletic program for Trident Tech, which is a junior college here. And they come in and they're eating healthy with us, and they're more open and more alert to the whole system of how things work, from recycling and from growing and animals. And I have two vegan kids at home myself, so but and then their eyes, I think, are more open to beyond just Charleston. They're seeing things in other countries. They're not just here. So I'm excited. I really enjoy talking to the young people and their interests. So I try to give them that nurture and that wisdom grandma gave me, though.
Love that. So tell us about Destiny Cafe. How does it work? Who comes in? And as specific as you can be so we get a full range of it. And then what goes on when you're open? Everything. We want
Oh, okay.
to.
Well, it's kind of like Grandma House.
Right.
Yeah, we cook what we can, and that's how Grandma House worked. You just showed up and you knew it was good, flavorful, and nutritious. As soon as anyone walks into Destiny, they're greeted with a smile, and we have a greeter up front, and they actually let them know if it's the first time. They let them know how it works, and if your pockets are light, you can volunteer. If your pockets are full, you can pay it forward. If you want to sign up to volunteer, there's things like I said before, wiping the windows. But we get a lot of senior citizens. It's sad to say that a lot of seniors only, they're on the fixed income, and they may only, if they do get assistance or welfare or anything or food stamps, it may be only like $5 for the month. So, and then some of them, they're not physically able to do a lot of physical here. So they like to be a greeter, just like Walmart. And some of them roll napkins, sit at the table. We're a nice community place, so people like to come in and just fellowship and eat and share recipes. We do buffet style a lot, but it's kind of cafeteria style. So we serve from behind. So we like people to see all that good vegetables and rutabaga and collard greens and things that we have here in the South. And we have a donation box. So we don't have a cash register. We just let people put in whatever they can. We have an envelope so you can leave a note or if you want to leave your name. And some people are pretty discreet. They'll let us know if there's other needs going on. We can't help with a lot of it, but we've been networking with a lot of agencies. So we've been able to share with them other ways to get beds or food or shelter. But other than that, we're open seasonal hours. Charleston is a seasonal place right now, and our fall hours are longer hours, 11 to 6, but volunteers can come in early and help us cut and chop vegetables if they want, or roll napkins. If they want to stay late, they can help us bus tables and vacuum the floor. But it's all a community.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of community going on outside of what you're doing? I'm living in a different kind of neighborhood, and I don't see a lot of community. I see people, kind of waving to one another, but not community. What are you seeing in terms of community in Greater Charleston?
Oh, I love it. I mean, especially at the cafe, because we may have people that come in that live in their car or just living in a hotel, and we're all coming together from different cultures or different backgrounds, different language. I'm learning a little Spanish today. I learned table and chair.
Love it. What do you think community does for people? How does that help people? Why is it important?
I think community brings a better spirit around, brings more peace in the atmosphere. I literally have heard testimonies where people have said they came to the cafe to get a meal and they were battling should they actually steal a bag of chips out the gas station or something. So I see that as well. And then I think it makes the heart of folks a little more empathetic to situations that people go through. Because even since I've been doing this, I never thought about people living in their car or living in a hotel, that those are forms of homelessness as well. And sometimes people may be just going through a bad day or a bad week. I had one lady on social media say that her car tire got flat, and that was the whole $100 and something for the grocery for the week for her and her kids. But so just seeing the stories and the things that people live and the different life challenges, I think is bringing the community to be more empathetic and not so judgmental. And maybe it can make changes in how things are done politically and how things are done with communities. We're getting more urban gardens planted now around the community. People are growing themselves. So yeah, at one time you couldn't knock on your neighbor door and ask for, a cup of sugar or something. So we're starting to see people come together more like that, knowing who your neighbors are, and so.
How has this changed you? It has to, I mean, this is pretty profound. It has to have made an impact on you.
Yes, that's what keeps me going. Because the first couple of years we started doing it, I really didn't really um, promote it as much. I'm just now getting more face out there now. It shows like yours and seeing the value of being a voice, because I want to truly be a voice for the people that come through. And because there are situations people just don't even are aware of. Um, so it has changed my life. It's and seeing the results that having a hot meal do for a person, their emotions, spiritually, physically. We have people that's come in there that's been on medication and maybe they, decreasing it a little more. Um, so the effects, it's raised my faith. It's raised my faith in people. And in today's time, especially with the news that's going on, it almost make you want to stay in your house and don't want to be around people anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why what you're doing is so important. I mean, these are only words, but what you're doing makes an impact. And it's like people like you, and you're one of the world changers. You're all beacons. You're all, and that's why I do the show, is so that people can see, no matter what's in the news, no matter what's going on, there are people like you, Ragina, and that care. And I think that that kind of spreads. So have you seen that as you're doing this, you've touched other people to step up and do things? Have you seen that kind of impact?
Oh yeah, I even seen it in our community. The shopping center that we're located, it didn't have hardly anything in there. It was almost like several abandoned units almost. And since we've been there doing this, there have been a small affordable grocery store opened up 3 doors down from us. And there's a $10 a month little fitness center opened up on the other side of us. And the people that's coming in, I've seen folks that have been eating with us for 6 months, and they come back, and I have videos on our pages. One lady came back and she did a video. She was like, I want to share, we're moving into our house. We got the truck outside and the U-Haul's filled up with our furniture, and thank you for feeding us. So we've seen just so much changes in the community, people's lives, and that's what keeps me going. Sometimes it feels like, oh gosh, am I doing this and is it helping? But then when we hear the testimonies, when people come in and share that they got a job, we had one lady came in, her stomach was growling, making noises, and somebody shared on social media what we do. And she was actually job hunting, driving in that area. And she came in the door, and when the greeter met her, she started crying. She said, and she shared her story. She said, my stomach was making noises. I've been job hunting. I have no money, nothing to eat. And she just started crying and embracing the greeter. And she enjoyed her meal, and she went back out there and she found a job. She works at a front desk at one of the hotels nearby. And anytime she has a free day, she would pop in and see if we need a helping hand.
So you're giving more than food. What you're doing, and it's like one of the people I interviewed was providing beds for kids that were sleeping on the floor. And while the bed was important, what was most important is that kid knew that somebody who didn't even know them cared enough to give them this thing. And you're providing food, and that's taking care of a physical need. But what you're doing is giving people hope. What you're doing is giving kindness, and it's opening people's hearts, and it's giving them courage. So are you aware that that's really what you're doing? It's not about the food, though the food is important.
Yes, I'm aware, but sometimes I feel like the joy that I get hearing that they're doing better, I feel like that's where my reward is, when they come back and tell me that something's better. And I get so much joy out of that. That's worth anything I think I could be doing right now. So.
Isn't it funny when we help one another, when we do something for someone, it feels so good. If people only realize, if they're not having a good day, if they want to feel better, all they have to do is do something for someone else. And I think we're hardwired as humans to do that. And you're a testimony to that. What you're saying is a testimony to that. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, that is true. My whole goal is that it will rub off on the next person, and they'll go pay it forward to the next person and the next person, and it just keeps going. And that's what we pray for the future and for the next generation to do. That's what my grandma raised me.
She must have been a really great lady. You were lucky to have had that kind of example. That's a wonderful thing. I wish we all had that. That would have been amazing. So what's future for Destiny Cafe, and how is what you're doing now different from your original vision? What, as you are the vision keeper, you know that.
Yeah. Well, I think we grow as the need grows.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like any other nonprofit, which is different for me because I'm a hard worker and I'm used to earning. And I came from being a teen mom, and thank God for grandma and help. But I've always worked and earned my share, and that's what we also want folks to learn too: a hand up and not a handout. With the Destiny Cafe, we need funds just like anything else. I've been funding it for 4 years out of pretty much mostly my pocket. Because I want the best for people. I experienced going to JBJ, which is Jon Bon Jovi. He's part of the network as cafes. He has a Pay What You Can in New Jersey. Actually, 2 now, but that's Jon Bon Jovi. He has Jon Bon Jovi money. But my goal is to, I really want to see us go, mobile. I want to get a fleet. I want to see us have buffets. The buffet we had now is an older model and is not working, so we're doing a lot by hand. So just equipment and things like that, I know we need to grow it. I would love to get more training programs because I can only train as much as I can, but to get in some more qualified people bigger than me so we can get some more hands-on training. Nowadays, if anybody want to work at restaurants or in food industry, they have to be certified. And we want to be able to do things like that to help folks with job training more. But all that requires money. So I'm not good at begging for money. They told me, you have a nonprofit, you have to beg for money now.
What about crowdfunding? Have you done
for people to get more resources?
Have you ever done crowdfunding or things like that?
I did a small one before and on GoFundMe. So we're hoping, I got some college students that's wanting to help now, and they're more savvy on this tech stuff than me.
I noticed that, but that's okay. You're doing something more important than being good on an iPhone or a computer. What you're doing is much more important. But I'm glad you're getting help. So if we're reaching out to people now, tell us the kind of help you need. So maybe somebody listening will say to you, listen, I want to help do whatever. So tell us what you need.
We need money.
Okay.
We need money. It takes a restaurant. Somebody told me years ago, whatever you do, don't go on a restaurant business because it's so expensive now. Food is expensive. We get donations from the farm, but that's the produce. We still need the seasonings. We still need to pay the light and the water and the gas bill and the rent to be able to make everything function. So the other cafes that I'm networking with that's been around a lot longer than me, they're getting funding from partners or just other, developers or whoever's out there that has that kind of resources to give. We need people to give. We have a couple of restaurant places that's equipment places nearby that they're willing to give us really, really good funds, discounts, and a couple of them have donated some pots and pans and spoons to us, then little nicks and dents. But we really need more help. Restaurants are just so expensive to run. Equipment needs maintenance all the time. So there's just different expenses that we need to run. We need the help.
Sure. My feeling is you're going to get it. It's like, and hopefully things like this that we're doing today and some other kinds of things will get you there. So your job is the vision keeper to know where you want to go and to be surrounded by people who will give you the support. I'm assuming you've got a board. That's great. Do you have a wonderful board?
Awesome, and it's growing. We're actually getting 2 more board members, and they're so qualified. And I'm like, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes,
That's
so
wonderful.
I'm excited about the other new board members that's coming on. Very active.
Very good, very good. So it's like, I think what's going on is like you're at the beginning of this wave. People are becoming conscious. People are starting to understand that the way we all have been living is not appropriate, and that we've kind of separated out from one another. We've lost community, and that takes a toll on everyone. So I think you're at the right place at the right time. And I can hear from what you're saying that it can be difficult, but at the same time, I think you're just doing it absolutely the right time. So what would you say to somebody who's struggling? Maybe somebody who's listening to this is struggling and maybe they don't have enough money. And what would you say to them?
I just tell them to keep hope and keep faith, and just close your eyes and meditate on all the good and all the good things that you can do, your qualifications. Just pray on it. I'm a prayer. I'm a believer, and you can do it. You can do it, and don't give up. You know, there's so much out there, and God will send the right person at the right time. Just don't give up.
That's beautiful. So what keeps you going? I hear part of it is faith. What keeps you going when things get tough? And I know they do.
Yeah, they do. I get faith, and like you said, just keeping focus on the successes and the testimonies and the results that we're getting, and year after year it gets better and better. So I say, well, Lord, you kept me going this long, so I know you're not gonna do any less. And I just feel like I just keep stepping one foot out, and he just keeps us going, and next foot and the next foot, and he keeps us going, and he brings the right people. And sometimes it's so funny. I gotta share this last little thing.
Yeah.
We were in the kitchen one day, and I had some young interns in there, and I was just saying, they had asked me with the spoon that I had, can they use it in the pan? And I said, no, that's a plastic spoon for doing baking, and it'll melt. And I said, well, hopefully, one day I'll get one of the ones that don't melt in the pan. And then we had a knock at the door, and it was these ladies from a group. They found our flyer in the sickle cell building at MUSC that of our needs list of just daily needs, hand towel, paper towel. We always need things like that, cleaning products. And they came in with like a SUV full of bulk sizes of paper towel, toilet paper, hand sanitizers, and all this good stuff. And in the whole stack was that plastic spoon that doesn't melt in a pan. And that was on my list.
Oh, so you're open to miracles, I'm taking it?
Yes. Yeah. And it was awesome for the young people to see that happen, because, just putting their, your speeches and your words out in the atmosphere. So I tell people, even if you don't believe in God or my God, just putting that out in the atmosphere and thinking positive and keeping peace and doing your mankind, your neighbors, treating everyone well, that it'll come back for good.
Yeah, I love that. That is so beautiful. I read that you have miracle meals. What's a miracle meal? I want to know.
Miracle meals is we're kind of like, I don't know if anybody's seen that show on Food Network where you get a mystery box and you got to make a meal and so much time. So I call those miracle meals, because God he'll supply the items for us, and we have to sit there and come up with enough meals, and it always feeds the exact amount of people we had that day.
Wow. So, there's no question that this is guided. I think, and I'm not a religious person, I'm a very spiritual person, so I don't follow any particular doctrine, if I may say it that way. But I think it's becoming more and more evident that there is something out there that loves us, because whatever it is, because of the things that you're saying, like you've had enough to feed whomever, and you get that plastic spoon that doesn't melt. But those things are happening more and more. So somewhere there's a shift in the universe, whatever that is, that's creating this. And that's why I said to you, I think you're doing this at the right time. And I think you will have more miracles in addition to feeding the number of people that you need to feed. So I think this is all coming together. And I think at some point I want to get all of you world changers together so people can see the impact. I mean, you're one person. Look at that. One person. You made a decision. Look what you made happen. And it keeps going. I mean, look at where you were 4 years ago when you saw this happen, and look where you are now. How does that feel to see that progression?
Oh my gosh. I'm excited to see what's next. That's where I'm at. Yes.
I love that.
I'm excited. And so I am. I'm excited, and like I said, it gives me more faith and more hope and more love for people.
I love that. That is so gorgeous. So how many people are on your staff there that help, that are not people just coming in, but do you have a big staff that works there as well, or is this all volunteer?
It's all volunteers. I have about 3 people that I give a little stipend to, and that's because, they come all the time and they pay their way through riding the bus or catching a cab, and they love being there. So the stipend kind of helps for the transportation for them to get there. But I would love to be able to have a paid staff because it's a lot of work. Yes, it's a lot of work, but I'm grateful for the 3 people that we have on stipends right now. They love what they're doing, and they're hanging in there for the long haul with us.
Wow. I mean, it gets kind of addictive, I think, when people see how wonderful this feels and what they can do. I mean, it's amazing what we do for one another, the kind of hope we give one another, the kind of support we can give one another. And I think often people don't realize how powerful a smile is, a pat on the back, a welcome as you have your welcomers there. Just small things do a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, we went to, I got to visit one time the Jon Bon Jovi's cafe when I first started, and he had real plates and real glass and real forks at the table. And I remember sitting there with my husband and my 2 daughters and experiencing that. And I wanted that for us because when we started, we didn't have real plates and everything. We had plastic and paper plates, and I said, this would be so awesome for somebody going through a hard day to sit with a real glass and a real fork and everything. So when we got back, I started building up my glasses and going to the dollar store, buying a set and a set and set. And then someone called and donated from a restaurant forks from, I think it's the Egg Place in Mount Pleasant. They bought new forks and gave us over 200 forks.
Wow.
So yeah, restaurants, if you're listening, we'll take whatever you have when you upgrade.
So do you have somebody who's doing outreach like that can talk to restaurant owners and other people?
That's what one of the new board members wants to do. She can't really come to the place physically, but she has a husband that's in a wheelchair. So she has to be home a lot in between the nurses. So she wants to make calls, but we do need as many people as we can because she's only one person.
Perfect. I love it. Any last words for our listeners other than you can create a miracle and you need help? Those 2 things, right?
I just want to say thank you and thank the listeners for taking their time out. I know it was a little shady and a little fuzzy in the beginning with the technology, but I really wanted to be the voice for our people, and they need a voice. And literally some of them, I actually have 2 blind people right now that come on a regular basis. And I'm learning a little sign language from another lady. So I am the voice, and, I'm putting it out there to, if you can, see a little bit if you can. Are you able to help in any way, volunteer or financial, or just spreading the news like Ms. Diana is doing today? This is great. And I pray it roll off into the hearts, minds, and the pockets. So thank you, and thank you for this time.
Oh, Ragina Scott Saunders, thank you so much. And everybody listening, you've got to go to, if you want an event catered, you go to Scott's Grand because she'll do it right. But if you need a place to either volunteer or a place to come, Destiny Cafe will welcome you. And I can't say enough thank yous for what Ragina is doing. So I want all of you to think about, all of our listeners, to think about what is it that you can do to make this a better world. As you can see, it only takes one person, one decision, one commitment, and other people join in and you start a movement. And I think that has started in the world more and more. So maybe one day I'll be interviewing you That would be so wonderful. You never know.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on Transformations, interviewing people, changing our world. You can now find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Soon on TuneIn. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the places you want to find us. And if you want to see this interview as it's going to be edited and put up, then go to www.transformationspodcast.com. And thank you so much. And thank you, Regina.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.